Welcome to Nice Talk, the podcast where students' voices matter and powerful stories are shared. Nice Talk is a production of the AVID elective classes at Alcorn Middle School. Nice Talk is operated and produced by 6th, 7th, and 8th grade AVID students.
Today we are excited to welcome our very own principal to the Night Talk podcast, Ms. Goodman. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we're going to begin with asking you a few questions. Is that fine?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What was your favorite subject when you were in middle school?
English.
That's mine too.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't working in education, what other job do you think you might have chosen?
There are a couple of things that I thought about when I was younger, but I was very interested in law. So I'd probably do something, lawyer, paralegal, something in the field of law.
What are your favorite hobbies?
I love to play tennis. I love to read mystery novels. And I also love to bake.
Oh, that's nice. My grandma loves to bake.
Mm-hmm.
Rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you this or that, and you give your first response.
Okay.
Movies or books?
Books.
Podcasts or music?
Music.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Oh, yeah, definitely tea. I love tea.
I like to smell coffee, but I don't like to drink.
I don't really like coffee in the morning. I can't do it. Now that we've gotten to know you a little better, we love to learn about your journey as a student and how it led you to education.
Okay, I'm going to try to condense it because it's a little long. I am the oldest of 3 children, and both of my parents were educators. So my mother taught anything K through 12, French, English, special services. My father was a history teacher. So again, it just was a family, I guess the family business is what we call it. My brother coaches and is a teacher at John P. Thomas, and then I have a younger sister, Dr. Keels, who is also in the educational field. So it's just pretty much been the thing to do with our family.
So it just like runs in the family, basically.
It runs in the family. I fought it for a couple of years and didn't think I would go into education, and I did a couple of other things, like worked in insurance and things like that, but then I came back to education. So I started as an English teacher, high school, middle, and then I came to Richland District 1 in 2004. I was at W.A. Perry as an English teacher, reading coach. I went to AC Flora as a dean of students, and then I went to Columbia High School for 8 years as assistant principal, and now I'm here at Alcorn going on 5 years.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's destined to be this. Do this.
Yes.
How did your experience as a teacher help shape the kind of middle and high school principal you became?
Well, my role as a teacher, I think, served as the foundation as a principal, because when you are in the classroom, you are understanding the needs of your students individually, academically, and socially. So that really was the foundation and helped me in my journey as an administrator. And it was not I didn't, want to become a principal. It just kind of happened. I was fine in the classroom because that's my first love, is teaching. And like I said, I was an English teacher. So through the course of different promotions, I ended up in administration, and I continued into the principal role. But I think to be an effective principal, it starts with your experiences in the classroom.
Do you plan on continuing being a principal?
Yes. My plan is to continue for another couple of years until I retire.
That's nice. What is one lesson you learned teaching in the classroom that stayed with you throughout your career?
There's so many lessons that I learned, but really the main lesson is building relationships with my students and understanding their needs so that we can work collectively for them to be successful. It is a lot of information and a lot of things that you try to impart to your students academically and socially. But when you have that relationship and you build that community within that classroom, the sky's the limit. Students will excel and do what they need to do. And as a teacher, that was my biggest goal, was to see my students achieve and do, what they needed to. But we really focused on building relationships and having that class community.
I feel like every teacher should know that, because I feel like having a bond with your student is great. It makes them want to walk in your class and do your work.
That's
and
right.
Other teachers don't look at that, so I feel like that's great to know.
Oh, good.
After teaching in the classroom, your role in education grew even larger. Let's talk about your experience as a school leader.
What are some of the biggest responsibilities of a school principal?
As you said, there are a lot. Some of the biggest responsibilities are, of course, school safety, making sure that throughout the day, students, staff are safe and are coming to an engaging environment that they feel safe and comfortable in. Also, in the principal role, it's more managing and looking at instruction, making sure instruction is engaging, is facilitated correctly, so that all of our students can master and show mastery and learn what they need to go to the next grade level. It's also a part of my position is to make sure that I create partnerships with the school communities, because a lot of things that we do here, like tomorrow we have the Star Level Up and we have food trucks and things like that. Those things cost money. So I have to look at the budgets that I have for the school, make sure that you all have all the materials and things that you need. The teachers have materials to teach and conduct and facilitate instruction. But by making those partnerships, we get help with a lot of things monetarily, and also volunteers that come out and support us. So those are some of the areas of focus that I have to focus on as the principal.
I never even know that. A lot of responsibilities.
Yes, it is.
What was the most rewarding part of being a principal?
It's a couple of things, but the most rewarding is, when we come every day to school and just seeing everyone coming to school and wanting to come to school. And when I go in the classroom, students are being engaged, and that they're asking questions, and again, just stating how they, are learning and wanting to be here. And of course, as we prepare for May 21st, always 8th grade promotion. Seeing all of our 8th grade students there who have worked from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, who've been here with us, prepare for that day, that's very rewarding to me.
What are some challenges principals face that students might not realize?
Well, and some of the things that I listed earlier, the challenges it deals with, I can go back to budget, trying to make sure when budgets are cut, trying to make sure that I find ways to make sure that you still have the materials and items that you need. Of course, some things like behaviors throughout the school day when we're trying to impart information to students, and then we have to deal with behaviors and discipline and that type of thing. But again, those types of things kind of correct themselves when we're being consistent and making sure that students understand that we're here for them. So those are some of the challenges.
How did you work with teachers to help students succeed?
Well, in my role as principal, it is very important that I work and set expectations for teachers. And when we talk about instruction, what does that look like? How should it look in the classroom? And providing professional development that makes sure that teachers understand what good instruction, good engaged instruction looks like, and how to build those relationships within the classrooms. So we provide a lot of support for our teachers with our professional learning communities. The collaboration sessions y'all had this year, when you all are in collaborations the second and fourth Monday, we are actually in this room in 406 with the teachers in our collaboration sessions. So just providing the time to assist them in their needs to facilitate good instruction.
What makes Alcorn special to you?
Alcorn is very special to me because one of the reasons is this was the first school that I came to when I, started my journey as principal. It's very special to me, and because as I talk to you all during town halls, we have accomplished a lot. And when we talk in our town halls about our SC Ready data and the different things that we have going on in school, I can see the growth from when I came here in 2022 to present. The culture and climate is a lot better. We have a lot of engaging activities for y'all. And then, of course, moving from below average to average. So every student in the school is very important to me because I'm very passionate about what I do. And I love each and every student. And I want to see every student progress and continue on and matriculate through high school, college, workforce, wherever your plans lead you. But Alcorn is a very special place in my heart, and it's a place where I hope to retire from in a couple of years, so that I can and hopefully what we did here will leave it a better place so that it continues for years to come.
I've definitely realized the change from 6th grade to 8th grade. It's gotten so much better. I've not even lie. I've seen it myself.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that.
What advice would you give students who want to become teachers or school leaders one day?
Well, the advice I would give is the advice I always give, especially during the promotion, is don't quit, don't stop. We need very, good teachers, and people, school leaders. We really need that in our schools, and especially in years to come, because you all are going to be leading and taking on leadership roles when you leave school and when you get into the workplace. So it's very important that we continue to get, groups of people that are interested in education and helping our young students along. So I would just say, invest in it. We have Pro Team here. Pro Team is a program that's a precursor to Teacher Cadet, which you can take in high school, and those programs get students involved in what it becomes, what the need is to become an educator. And that's something that you could do early on if you were thinking about it. So just getting involved and just looking and researching the requirements for it, but just don't stop, and just make sure if that's something you want to do and you want to give back to the community, it is a great way to give back to the community.
I feel like kids don't realize how much teachers play a role model in our lives. Growing up, what you see around you is basically what you're become. So if you're around leaders, then you're going to be a leader. If you're around followers, you're going to be a follower. I feel like it's not a lot of teachers out right now, and some people should start looking into it because it may be the best option. We need more teachers. We need more leaders out there. So I think
very good insight, and that is so true. And like you said, if you start now, and like if you do Pro Team, Teacher Cadet, or just talk to your teachers and find out what it took, what kind of training because it's ongoing, it's lifelong, It's a continuation. You continue, you have to recertify every 5 years with your certificate. You go back, you take classes, things of that nature, because there are different, pedagogy that comes along in a couple of years. So it's a lot, it's a big responsibility, but it's very rewarding.
How can students make a positive difference in their schools right now?
There are many ways. One, the different organizations and things that we have, joining and when we are talking to you all and asking for your feedback when you take those surveys, being really truthful, so that because we ask you all to do those things because that helps us to, restructure some of the things that we have going on throughout the school day. And also just being positive, going in your classes, working hard, staying focused, as we talked about all year. When you're in the classroom, you stay focused, you have a good time, you're learning, and then just participating with all of the extracurricular activities that we have in the school.
What skills do you think are most important for students to develop for the future?
Ooh, that's a good question. Really, because of technology and the way we utilize it, you need skills with technology, but you still need the basics. You need critical thinking, reading, comprehension, mathematical skills. You need to have the foundations, and then transition that with the skills that are being required with technology, because technology is ever changing, and you all grasp it quicker, than we do. But I'm always thinking, and you know the basics. However that technology changes, you can, go along with it and learn. So I think those are pretty much the skills that you need. And also social skills. You got to know how to work with a team. And that's what you're doing, and you don't know it yet, but at school, you're mingling with different, friends and people you don't know. And when you go out in the workforce, you're going to be on a team with people you've never met before. So how do you manage that? How do you deal with personalities and still work together to complete a common goal? So all of that socially, academically, you're learning now, and you'll continue as you matriculate through high school. But those are some of the characteristics that you really need to learn to be successful.
Thank you for bringing that to light for other people.
You're welcome.
We're now going to begin on our closing questions.
Okay.
When you look back on your career, what are you most proud of?
I am most proud of really just being a person that assisted where needed, assisted my students, assisted staff, parents, and community members. And I've always said at all the different places that I've gone, all you have is your last name. So when someone says Goodman, when I leave here and retire and I'm sitting on my porch, when someone says the name Goodman, I want that my name to be synonymous with a hardworking, caring person who was there to make the place better than it was when I got there.
Is there anything else you would like students listening to this podcast to know?
I would just like our students to know just to continue to work hard and then work with your teachers and administrators to make your school a better place.
Thank you so much, Ms. Goodman, for sharing your story and your experience with us. We learned a lot about education, leadership, and giving back to our community.
Thank you for having me again.
That's all from the roundtable. Thanks for listening to Nights Talk, where students' voices matter and stories inspire. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading, and go Knights.